Good morning, stepsons. It's time for a Monday morning shave video. And sharing some thoughts with you like I do periodically as I shave in the morning. I was thinking this morning about the guy who was my stepdad. Mark Gould. I've told stories about him on the channel in the past, but I was thinking about him this morning because he did for me in person what I'm trying to do for you over YouTube by basically helping me learn things that would help me be successful as I grew up, especially as a boy growing up and my dad wasn't there. That was kind of tough at times with some things, like mom just didn't know some things that my dad probably would have known, and Mark stepped in and helped me learn a fair amount of things, like changing the brakes, and done a video on changing the brakes, so you can learn that from me too if you want. But the one thing he did do that's harder for me to be able to do via YouTube is he was there for me in person a lot of times. But I first got to know Mark because he was one of the adult leaders in a group of young men. We were a scouting group and a church group. A little longer today. And one thing that we would do, we had activities every so often. We would have camping trips and other activities that we would go on, and in order to fund those, we would gather newspapers the first Saturday every month. So we had asked in our neighborhood for people in the neighborhood to set out their old newspapers at the curb. I think it was the first Saturday morning of every month. And so Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, all us boys were supposed to meet at his house or somewhere, and he'd take us around in the back of his pickup truck. Back then seatbelts weren't even a legal requirement. We would ride in the back of the pickup truck and go around the neighborhood to pick up the newspapers, which is kind of fun. I mean, it's a bunch of houses. We weren't going fast or anything. And we'd drive through the neighborhood. It probably took a total of an hour. But it was Saturday morning. Saturday morning, that's when the Saturday morning cartoons are on. So, it was a sacrifice on our part. It really wasn't. But like most 12, 13, 14-year-old boys, we didn't like to get up in the morning, let alone go work. First thing on a Saturday morning when you're not in school, you get the day off from school, you'd rather watch Saturday morning cartoons, which was the thing back then too. So one particular Saturday, I think we had a hard time. We didn't show up. I don't think I went until I got a phone call. And, okay, I'll come. And I went, and there were probably only like 3 of us boys when normally there's twice that many or more. And in fact, I think they had 2 pickups, and some of us would go into one, some of us would go in the other, and we'd go around this section of the neighborhood, and all we did was, if they had a bundle of newspapers at the curb, we'd grab them and throw them in the back of the pickup truck. So it wasn't that hard, but and then after we'd get them all, we'd take them downtown. They would, the way we got money for this is recycle companies, I think it was an insulation company, would use those, grind them up, and do something with it. So they pay by the pound. So for all of the, depending on how much weight of newspapers you have, you get, I don't know, $20, $30. I don't know what it was. Probably was about that for a truckload. So we would do this every month to earn money for our camping trips or whatever else we did. Well, this one Saturday when most of us didn't go, I did go when I was summoned, but it was a light turnout. Well, the next day when our group is meeting, I remember Mark, he had us in there, he says, I'm going to talk to you. I want to talk to you guys. And you could tell it wasn't going to be pleasant. And so he just basically chewed us out, because we were all there then. He said, look, we're giving up our time to come help you guys. You guys need to come and be there too. And as we sat there, I remember thinking two things. I was glad that I had actually gone the day before. But I also felt a little guilty because I didn't go until they called, which they shouldn't have had to do, to get me to come over there. But at least I'd gone, so I was there. And I think he made the statement, if you were there yesterday, then you don't have to pay attention to this. But I still paid attention because I knew I tried to avoid it, or I didn't go until I had to or was called. But he chewed us out. I'm telling you this story because sometimes for you to learn how to be a man, you're going to get chewed out once in a while. For you to grow into adulthood and become responsible, now you can grow up and be irresponsible. Unfortunately, that happens a lot, but not for you, hopefully. But for that to happen, you're going to get chewed out. Maybe it's going to be by me in one of my other videos. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's one of your teachers. Maybe it's a coach. Maybe it's someone else in your life. But you're probably going to get chewed out once in a while. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. But if you need it, it's a good thing. If you get chewed out by somebody and you know they care about you, then pay attention to what it is they're chewing you out for. And make the correction that they're trying to help you correct with. Right? So in my case, it was, you know what? I shouldn't have to be told. I know I've got this responsibility. Show up on the first Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, whatever time it was, and be there. I'm old enough to know that. I go to school. I get up and go to school. I can get up on a Saturday and go collect newspapers. Well, what is it that you know you need to do that you don't do unless someone kicks you in the butt, verbally or otherwise, and start doing it? It's going to help you be closer to manhood successfully. Hopefully that helps. A little long-winded on this one, but always remember the two messages from every video. Just like Mark Gould cared about me enough to chew me out, I know he did it because he loved me. Well, you can successfully grow into manhood, even though your dad may not be in your daily life. And always remember that this dad loves you. And I'll see you in the next video.